Have you ever gotten followers on Twitter and wondered if they were an actual person who found your page? Have you ever wondered how they found your page? And if maybe they found your page via a bot? That's actually what we're going to be talking about today.
I can see you in the crowd. I can see you 'cause your heart lights up the sky. I can hear you screaming loud, roaring like the thunder in the night. You're everywhere I go.
I started thinking about this kind of thing when my Twitter page started to get a huge influx of followers. And I mean, reasonably it could just be that I was more active on Twitter, but I kind of started to have other suspicions. Back about 2 years ago, I made a Twitter account for a radio show that I was hosting at my local college. The college pages that were affiliated with the campus, or that were made to be associated with the campus, suddenly started appearing for suggestions for me to follow. Naturally, I just thought it was because I was living in the city now, and maybe Twitter knew that I was living in a college city and was making those suggestions based off of it. Plus, it's not unheard of for your Twitter page to suggest pages for you to follow based on your search history. I didn't think much of it at the time. Just recently, a few months ago, I repurposed the same Twitter page for my YouTube page. I updated my Twitter bio to say that I was interested in music, something that, strangely enough, I didn't have on my original page when I had a radio show. And I also added a link to my YouTube page. Almost immediately afterwards, I started to get suggestions for both bands and also YouTubers to follow. Not only was I getting suggestions, but I was also getting follows from people who were in bands or who had YouTube channels. So I began to kind of wonder why. Again, it could have been just who I was associating with on Twitter and who I was chatting about and some of the hashtags I was using. But I didn't really talk much about music on my Twitter page despite the fact that my bio stated that I did. I began to wonder if there was a way that people were scouring through bios and were getting suggestions of pages to follow. Not only that, but I began to hypothesize that it wasn't people manually looking for bios, but instead that they were using bots. Now, there's totally a possibility that Twitter was making suggestions, but their page describing how they suggest who to follow to you kind of stated otherwise. On the official Twitter support page, there's a quick description of how Twitter finds pages to suggest. This is what it says. Twitter's account suggestions are based on algorithms that make personalized suggestions for you. You may see suggestions based on certain criteria. If you've uploaded your contacts to Twitter, we'll suggest you connect with those who already have Twitter accounts. If someone has uploaded their contacts to Twitter and your email address or phone number is included in their contacts, we may suggest you follow them. We may make suggestions based on your activity on Twitter, such as your tweets, who you follow already, and accounts that tweets that you view or others have interacted with. If your settings permit, we may make personalized suggestions based on your visits to third-party websites that integrate Twitter content. Basically pages that pay to find out pages that you visited and make suggestions, and also to get ads and ad revenue. So basically from that we can garner a few things. One, Twitter makes suggestions based on payments that they receive from outside sources, and also they make suggestions based on who you've already associated with on Twitter and your search history, if settings permit. Now again, it could have been suggested based on my search history, but I wasn't really looking at Twitter pages that were based on music. People could have been getting suggestions to follow me, but it just didn't make any sense to me because I was suddenly getting this influx of music and YouTube follows after I'd made the changes to the bio, even though beforehand I was chatting about music for my radio show. It wasn't until I changed my bio that I started getting all these follows. To continue with this hypothesis, let's take a look at what Twitter bots do. Twitter bots are often known for trying to get more followers. They may make tweets that can be seen as spam by certain systems in an attempt to get more viewership for the people who created the bots. You may have seen spammy comments that just didn't quite sound right and ended up in your spam folder on YouTube as well, and it's the same basic principle. Bots will often just kind of go out and send out their message in an attempt to get more views and hoping that someone will eventually click on the profile. They're not necessarily always malicious, sometimes they're just meant to get more views. So the next question will be, how many bots are there actually on Twitter? I mean, if this is a... Thanks for the interruption, laptop. I really appreciate that. The next question will be, how often are bots used on Twitter? I mean, is it often enough that what happened to me is a common occurrence, or could actually be as I hypothesized? There was a study done in March of 2017 regarding bots on Twitter. The study suggested that there could be nearly 40 million bots on Twitter, or about 15% of Twitter's active monthly users, which is a bit higher than Twitter's original estimate of 8.5% of users. 15% seems kind of small, but considering that's 48 million bots, that's a lot of bots. It's not really surprising. You see offers all the time of apps and pages that will help you get more follows. All they really are bots going out and finding similar information and suggestions to make for who to follow, and getting you more follows by first following somebody else. Now, I don't even know if Twitter allows you to search for certain suggestions in bios when you type in the search bar. I don't think they do. It's usually just based on the name of the user, words that are in the tweets themselves, as well as hashtags. But because of the fact that all this information, the bios and your username and everything else, is encapsulated in the API for Twitter, bots can scour through an API and find bios that way. It's not built into normal Twitter functionality, but if you know how to access certain parts of the API, you could find it with a bot. Since we know that Twitter doesn't claim to make suggestions based on bios, if you're noticing an increase of a certain type of followers after changing your bio, it's very, very possible that it is due to a bot, and this isn't really a surprising thing. I guess my next question kind of is, are bots inherently bad? I mean, they can be used for hacking attempts. If it turns out that you had kind of a canned comment on your page and you clicked on it, you might get a virus. But for the most part, they're used just to try to get more Twitter followers. They're not necessarily malicious in intent, but just as a way to get more views, clicks, etc. They're not much worse than a normal ad, except for the fact that they might be sending you a message. It's not really surprising that it's happening. It's not really a terrible thing, but it is kind of weird to know that if you're getting follows, it might be because something that you tweeted earlier, not because someone saw it, but because a bot saw it and made the suggestion. It's also kind of uncomfortable because if you get a follow from someone and you try to message them to thank them for that follow, they may not have been the ones to follow you. It may have been the bot. They may not even know that they're following you. Suddenly they get this message and they choose to ignore it, and so you might not even communicate with this person at all, and that can be kind of weird. They're following you without realizing it, and you might follow them back, and then they may or may not unfollow you afterwards. So as far as bots go, I'd say it's not really surprising that they're out there. They can be fairly easy to spot, but sometimes you don't really know if the follow that you got was due to someone naturally finding your page, or it could be through data mining, which is something that's kind of weird to think about, but it's also something that we've come to kind of accept as social media progresses and as data mining becomes more and more frequently used in order to gain ad revenue or to get more views. So that's pretty much my take on it. Let me know what you guys think about the idea of bots on social media websites in the comments. And also what you think of data mining, because that is a huge thing in this current day and age and in social network, and that's probably going to be a video coming up pretty soon. Because honestly, I love the idea of artificial intelligence and studying it, but most commonly AI is used for data mining. I really want to know what you guys have to say. Alright, thanks for watching this video. I hope you all had a wonderful day. I wish you all the best, and I hope your days are filled with wonder and adventure, and I will see you in the next video. Bye! A little note on the videos that are coming up soon. As I mentioned before, there will probably be a video on data mining or something similar. Also, if you click up here, you'll probably notice that there is a video that is a vlog about my traveling and hair thing, and you might say, Neon, I thought you were going to go pink again. This isn't pink. What is this color? Yeah, you'd be right, because the pink washed out, but you can see what it looks like in the video before it washed out. It wasn't even pink for Indie Popcorn, which kind of bums me out, but this is a pretty color. I mean, it's just kind of blonde, and yeah, it's nice. Also, there will be another video coming out about Indie Popcorn itself and the vlog footage that I took there, because that's kind of more of the video that I wanted to post, but I did the hair thing previously and I wanted to put that out there, especially after the hair was no longer pink. So check that one out and check out the actual vlog, which when it is up will be here somewhere. Also, if you liked this video, you might like the one about operating systems as well, which I kind of go on the same tangent and get all nerdy just like I did here. Alright, see you guys! You know, just, if you click on one of the videos, I'll just wait. Nah, I won't look over your shoulder like that, that's just weird. Bye!